Okay, so let's start with question number 1. The Filipinos in Spain were not rebels. Rather, they were blank. Is it letter A, journalist? Is it letter B, politician? Is it letter C, economist? Or letter D, reformist? Okay, sandali. Titignan ko yung mga chat. Ayan. Okay, so for question number 1, guys. Ano sagot ng mga TikTokers natin? Bakit familiar si Ma'am Jenna pala? Nagkakaroon ba kayo ng flashbacks sa pharmacy board? Ano, review natin, guys. Oo, doon sa mga nanonood ng mga dati kong estudyante, guys, pa-legit check naman. Sabihin nyo naman na talagang nagtuturo talaga ako. Okay, so ano ang sagot natin, guys? Okay, so always remember, guys, so this one, the Filipinos in Spain were not rebels, rather they were what? Very good. That's our letter D, reformists. Okay? So always remember, guys, yung mga Filipinos na nasa Spain, they were not rebels at in harap-harapan. They were actually reformists. And they were, wait lang, narito. Yeah. So they were now part of the propaganda movement. They were now part of the propaganda movement. Palitan ko lang yung kulay. Nasistress ako sa red. Ayan. So, black ko na lang. Ayan. So, they were now part of the propaganda movement. So, what is now your propaganda movement? Yung propaganda movement natin, guys, it's actually a group, it's a movement which are led by young Filipinos na nag-aaral sa Spain. So, in Spanish University. And they were now inspired by the idea of the Enlightenment. Okay? So, ano yung goal ng propaganda natin? So, ang propaganda natin actually, they just want changes sa Philippines, but still under the Spanish rule. So parang ang gusto nila is maging province yung Philippines ng Spain. Ano pa? They should have, yung Filipinos, they should have the same rights as your Spanish citizens. And of course, isa sa mga pinaka gusto talaga nila is, gusto nilang i-expel lahat ng mga friars, ng mga Spanish priests from the Philippines. Okay? And of course, pag pinaalis na yung Spanish friars, ano mangyayari dito? Magkakaroon ng empowering of the native Filipino clergy. Okay? And of course, yung gusto natin, yung basic human rights, of course, sino naman ang ayaw nun. Okay? So, yun yung mga examples ng mga gusto nilang i-change sa Philippines noon. Okay? So, they are not rebels, they are reformists. And they are usually under the propaganda movement. And the propaganda movement, guys, always remember, this is now a movement led by young Filipinos who are studying in Spain. Okay? They actually, though, hindi siya, ito yung kinaibahan ng propaganda sa rebellion ni Katipunan. Bakit? Kasi si Katipunan gusto talaga niyang umalis sa Spain. So, Philippines should be a separate country from Spain. Pero sa propaganda movement, they actually started very parang ano sila, dahan-dahan. So, parang gusto muna nila maging province ang Spain. Parang gusto lang nila ng equal rights. Kasi nga lagi tayo na mamaltrato nun. So, for question number 1, the correct answer is letter D, reformist. Okay, next one. Nalilito. Ang dami kong screen na tinitingnan. Sorry, guys. Nalilito na tuloy ako kung ano yung question. Next question, number 2. What was the name of the Filipino soldier who led the Cavite Mutiny of 1872? Is it letter A, Sergeant La Madrid? Is it letter B, Lieutenant Taviel de Andrade? Is it letter C, General Mariano Noriel? Or letter D, Father Jose Burgos? Oh, ang galing naman nila. Yes, ganyan talaga. Madami dapat tayong ganap, guys, kasi kailangan natin kumita at kumayod ng todo bigay. Okay, so, ano? Uy, thank you, Yina naman, sa legit naman si ma'am. Baka gusto mo namang essay form, Char. Okay, so, what is our answer for question number 2, guys? What was the name of the Filipino soldier who led the Cavite Mutiny of 1872? Very good for those who are attending the Zoom. The correct answer is letter A, Sergeant La Madrid. Okay? So, always remember, guys, yung ating Cavite Mutiny, ano ba yung nag-start? Bakit sila nag-cause ng mutiny? Kasi dito guys, ang nangyari dito is yung mga shipyard workers. So magsulat tayo dito guys. So the shipyard workers, guys, they were exempted from forced labor and paying tributes to the governor general. Okay? Pero tinanggal yun. So tinanggal yung privilege nila na yon na hindi na sila magbabayad ng tribute, tsaka exempted sila sa forced labor. So binigyan sila ng forced labor, tapos kailangan pa nila magbayad. So naggalit sila. So ayun, nag-cause sila ng mutiny. Okay? But dahil itong mutiny na to, ang bilis nakadating sa capital, agad-agad nagpadala ng forces ang Spain dyan sa Cavite. And anong nangyari sa kanila? The mutiny was quickly suppressed and most or hindi naman many of the participants including dito si Sergeant La Madrid, they were executed. Okay? And dito guys, ang very important to remember here guys is yung pag-execute nila sa lahat ng mga nag-cause ng Cavite Mutiny, it's actually para panakot sa atin na we are still controlling you. So parang kami pa rin ang nagko-control sa inyo. So kung kayo ay magwuwelga, ganito ang mangyayari sa inyo. But actually, yung Cavite Mutiny na yan, it's actually one of the starting points kung bakit tayo nagkaroon ng unity. Katulad ng discussion natin last I think nung Tuesday, nang-discuss tayo dito, what is the significance of your Cavite Mutiny? Aside from yung dinidiscuss natin ngayon. Lagi niyong tatandaan, the Cavite Mutiny is actually the reason kung bakit na sa tingin ninyo. Ano na nga ba ulit ang importance ng Cavite Mutiny? It was actually the reason, ito yung reason na falsely accused ang Gomburza. This is actually the false. Ito yung ginawa nilang reason para Gomburza. I-execute ang Gomburza. Okay? And as you remember nung ating discussion the last Tuesday, nung last Tuesday guys, ano yung sinabi natin sa Gomburza? Di ba na falsely accused sila? And then, ano ginawa sa kanila? Di ba ginarote sila? At tapos nung ginarote sila isa-isa, lahat ng present doon guys is nagtanggal ng hats to respect them. And that is actually one of the reasons kung bakit tayo may Jose Rizal. Bakit? Kasi dahil sa execution na to, na-inspire si Jose Rizal to write his mga works and yung mga books niya. Okay? So, yan ang ating question number 2. What was the name of the Filipino soldier who led the Cavite Mutiny of 1872? That's your Sergeant La Madrid. So next question, guys. Through the policy of reduction, Filipino communities were settled in town centers called blank. Is it letter A, Cabacera, letter B, Poblaciones, letter C, Encomiendas, or letter D, Pueblos? Okay, so please take note of this question, guys, because this is common board exam question. Ilang beses na siyang lumabas. So what is our answer for this question? Very good. It's letter A, Cabecera. Okay? Now, what's usually kasi dito guys, nagkakalituhan tayo dito, future teachers. So, usually it's Cabecera or Poblaciones ang isasagot natin. So, here guys, the Cabacera, that's that's the actual board exam question. That's the actual board exam na choice. So, it's actually Cabecera. Okay. So, what is the difference between Cabecera and Poblaciones? Kasi minsan nagkakalituhan tayo dito. So, when we say Cabeceras, guys, this is actually the municipal seat. Okay? So, ito yung ibig sabihin. Yung term na Cabecera is actually head or headquarters. So, this is actually the main town or the administrative center of a municipality. Okay? So, dito usually nakikita yung local government, nandito yung municipal services, government offices, and central infrastructures. Okay? So, this is the political, economic, and cultural hub of the municipality. Kumbaga, ito yung tinatawag nating sentro. Okay, now, what about poblaciones? When we say poblaciones, guys, these are your populations or settlements. So it simply refers to any inhabited place or settlement within a municipality. So it can be your town villages, your hamlets, or even rural communities. Okay? So pag sinabi nating poblaciones, it's not necessarily na administrative center sila, pero ang pagkakaiba niya is, ito na lang isipin nyo guys. What's the main difference between a cabecera and a poblaciones? Ang cabecera, importante lang dyan, it's the central or main town. Kapag poblaciones, it's all the types of settlements, whether it's smaller or rural communities. Okay? That's why, going back to the question, Filipino communities were resettled in town centers. So yan yung keyword natin, town centers. So anong sagot natin? Cabecera. So that's your letter A. Okay? So, lagi niyo na lang tandaan para hindi kayo malito, kailangan nating mag-reduce ng number para tayo magkasya sa taxi cab. Okay? Mag-reduce ng number para magkasya sa taxi cab, cabecera. Okay? So, that's question number 3. Okay? Next, question number 4. Okay? Gabriel Silang is to Diego Silang at Gregoria de Jesus is to blank. Is it letter A, Gregorio del Pilar? Is it letter B, Emilio Jacinto? Is it letter C, Andres Bonifacio? Or letter D, Emilio Aguinaldo? Naaamoy ko yung ulam ng kapitbahay namin. Amoy ko yung ulam ng kapitbahay namin. Hello? Okay na ba? Okay, so let's continue now, guys. So for question number 4, Gabriela Silang is to Diego Silang at Gregoria de Jesus is to blank. Is it letter A, Gregorio del Pilar? Is it letter B, Emilio Jacinto? Is it letter C, Andres Bonifacio? Or letter D, Emilio Aguinaldo? Yan. So, always remember, guys, Gabriela Silang is the partner, diba? Is the partner, diba? It's the, she is the partner and advisor to her husband, which is Diego Silang. Okay? And ang nangyari dito, guys, is, diba si Diego Silang, when he died, so his efforts to throw the Spanish, so parang gusto nilang mapatanggal yung Spain, of course. So napatay si Diego Silang. And then, ang pumalit na leader is si Gabriela Silang. So therefore, yan yung analogy natin. If Gabriela Silang is the partner, the wife, and advisor to her husband, who is Gregoria de Jesus? So sino naman yung kapartner ni Gregoria de Jesus? So what's your answer, guys? Oo, walang... Hello? Walang voice? May voice. May voice ako? Wala akong voice? Ay, okay. It stressed me, ah. Na-stress ako. Okay, so, who is your answer for this one, guys? That's, what's your answer? That's, of course, very good. That's your letter C, Andres Bonifacio. Okay, so si Gregoria de Jesus, guys, siya yung wife ni Andres Bonifacio. And nung kinasal sila, guys, she was now named as, so nagkaroon siya ng nickname. And ang nickname niya is Lakambini ng Katipunan. Lakambini ng Katipunan. Okay? So ano ang role ni Gregoria de Jesus sa Katipunan, guys? She was actually a very important part of the Katipunan kasi siya yung custodian ng mga documents ng Katipunan, yung mga secret codes and seal. Okay? So that is now the role of Gregoria de Jesus. Okay? Yun nga lang, baka kasi malito kayo, yan, kasi ako din nung estudyante ako medyo nalito ako bigla. So si Gregoria de Jesus, guys, asawa niya si Andres Bonifacio. But when Andres Bonifacio died, nagkaroon si Gregoria de Jesus ng asawa ulit. So, sino naman yung susunod niyang asawa? Si Juan Nakpil. Okay? So, huwag kayong malilito ha. Si Andres Bonifacio muna. And then the next one, si Juan Nakpil. Okay? Check mo siguro yung audio mo, Miss Pam. Yan. Kasi meron naman daw akong audio. Okay. Please check on your end. Okay, so that's question number 4. Okay, next, let's proceed to question number 5. So for question number 5, guys, the first Philippine president from the Ilocos region was blank. Okay, so medyo nakakalito tong question na to, guys. Ayan, so sabi ko sa inyo, be very careful with this question, guys, kasi medyo Nakakalito siya. So, unang tingin nyo agad, sinong una yung isasagot dyan? Si? Sinong una yung isasagot? 'Di ba? Kasi yung una nating isasagot, sino ba yung parang sa atin, sino ba yung pinakasikat na president from the Ilocos region? Yung talagang kahit anong mangyari, hindi natin siya makakalimutan. Si Ferdinand Marcos, 'di ba? So please be very careful with this question. Okay. So, for question number 5, guys, of course, sa akin ha, kung ako yung sasagot nitong question nito, ang una kong i-eliminate ay si Rodrigo Duterte. Di ba? So I will first eliminate Rodrigo Duterte kasi siya yung sa lahat ng sa lahat ng choices, siya yung pinaka recent. At alam natin na si Rodrigo Duterte, he's from Davao. So he was actually born in Maasin City, Leyte. And then when he was young, he moved to Davao. So, aalisin ko na si Rodrigo Duterte. What about si letter A, si Manuel Rojas? So, don't worry about Manuel Rojas, guys, kasi very easy to remember. Saan pinanganak si Manuel Rojas? Sa Rojas City. Sa Rojas City. Okay? At nasa ng Rojas City, guys? This is the capital of Capiz. Okay? So, therefore, I only have two choices. Si Ferdinand Marcos at si Elpidio Quirino. Okay? So, guys, huwag niyong kakalimutan, sino ang first Philippine president from the Ilocos region? Yung lolo ko. Charot lang. So, sino ang ating first Philippine president from the Ilocos region? That's your letter B, Elpidio Quirino. Okay? So, parehas silang galing sa Ilocos region, guys. Si Elpidio Quirino, yun nga lang, siya yung nauna. Si Elpidio Quirino sa Ilocos Sur. Si Ferdinand Marcos, Ilocos Norte. Okay? So, si Elpidio Quirino, guys, always remember, he was the 6th president of the Philippines, while si Marcos ay 10th. So, sino nauna? Of course, the 6th, si Elpidio Quirino. Okay? And of course, dagdagan lang natin, guys, aside from being the first Philippine president from the Ilocos region, what else should we remember about Elpidio Quirino? Si Lolo? Charot lang. So, hindi ka din. Hindi, joke lang, joke lang. So, si Elpidio Quirino, guys, he is actually known as the father of foreign service. He is now the father of he is known as the father of foreign service. So, bakit siya tinawag na father of foreign service? Kasi he had excellent achievements as Secretary of Foreign Affairs. Okay, so before he became president, he was a Secretary of Foreign Affairs. So he had excellent service and also as a president. Okay, so according to history, he was able to garner increased economic aid from the United States. Ayan. Okay, so that's why Elpidio Quirino was now known as the father of foreign service. Okay, so Ilocos Sur, si Elpidio Quirino, Ilocos Norte naman si Ferdinand Marcos. Okay? Okay, let's proceed to question number 6. Apolinario Mabini, the acknowledged brains of the revolution, wrote the principles of conduct and morality that should govern the revolutionary government as contained in blank. Is it letter A, El Verdadero Decalogo? Is it letter B, La Cartilla? Is it letter C, Filipinos dentro el 100 años? Or letter D, Himno al Trabajo? Sa mga hardworking, letter D ang sagot natin. Laging nagtatrabaho. Okay. So, what's your answer for question number 6, guys? What's your answer for question number 6? Guys, alam ko na, ang isa sa mga lagi ko iniisip noon, nagdadasal ako nung nag-let ako is, sana yung mga lumabas sa Gen Ed, yung mga alam ko. Kasi nga, di ba, general education, so that means, na-discuss yan nung elementary, nung high school, even yung mga minor subjects natin nung college. So, nagdadasal talaga ako. I think parang madadali lang yung lumabas. Ang nakakatawa sa akin, guys, they were asking me, kamusta yung let? Wala akong matandaan na question. Ang natatandaan ko lang is yung Ifugao, rice terraces, yung question doon, yung man-made or hindi ko pa nga maalala yung specific na question eh. Ayan. Tapos naalala ko nung nag-let ako guys, tawa ako ng tawa habang sumasagot ako kasi hindi ko alam yung mga ibang sagot. Ayan. So, alam niyo yun parang ayoko na kasing malungkot kasi malungkot na nga ako nun. So, ayoko nang lalong malungkot. So, sabi ko tatawa na lang ako. Tapos nakikita ko yung mga kasama ko parang ang seryoso nila, nahiya naman ako. Ayun. So, di ba nga, hindi mo na nga alam yung sagot, malungkot ka pa, edi tawa ka na lang para ano. Okay, so for question number 6, guys, what's your answer for this one? For question number 6, that's letter A, El Verdadero Decalogo. Okay, so your El Verdadero Decalogo, this is, in English, this is also known as your, the true Decalogue. This is now the true Decalogue. Okay, and ano ba ang the true Decalogue, guys? So as the question states, it's actually, it's outlining the principles of conduct and morality for the revolutionary government. Okay? And ang ating Mabini, guys, always remember, kaya siya, bakit parang siya tinawag na brains of the revolution? Kasi sobrang galing daw niya. So he has political savvy, tas sobrang talino, and ano siya, parang magaling siya magsalita. Eloquent. Okay, and he was the chief advisor of Emilio Aguinaldo. And aside from making the El Verdadero, he actually drafted, so si Apolinario Mabini, guys, he also drafted the Constitution. So he also drafted the Constitution for the first Philippine Republic. Okay? So yan ang role ni Apolinario Mabini. Okay? Now, if El Verdadero is the conduct and morality, what about the other choices? Kasi lumalabas din yan sa ating left. So ano naman yung ibang choices, guys? So for the La Cartilla, guys, La Cartilla, this is actually made by Emilio Jacinto. This was now written by Emilio Jacinto. And ito yung tinatawag nating Kartilya ng Katipunan. So ano naman ang Kartilya ng Katipunan? So this is now the outline of the teachings of the Katipunan Society. Okay? So para sa Katipunan naman ng La Cartilla. Okay? La Cartilla Katipunan. Okay? Next, what about your letter C? Filipino dentro el 100 años. Okay? So ito guys, ang English translation niya is the Philippines. It's now the Philippines a century hence. So this is now written by Jose Rizal. Okay? So of course, basta Jose Rizal, ang essays niya, social-political usually. Okay? Ayan. And it was printed in La Solidaridad. La Solidaridad. Okay. Next, what about your himno al trabajo? So ito guys, as in, trabaho. So this is also written by Jose Rizal. And ito, ginawa to ni Jose Rizal because ni-request to ng mga friends niya sa Lipa, Batangas. Okay? And dito guys, yung himno al trabajo, it's actually parang nagsasagutan sila ng mga workers. Hindi naman nagsasagutan in a bad way ha. Yung parang may nagsasalita, tapos may sasagot, tapos may nagsasalita, may sasagot. Parang ano sila, going back and forth. Okay? And ano yung himno al trabajo? Ang himno al trabajo guys, it states that yung mga tagalipa, they will always be willing to work hard for the country. Yun. So yan yung himno al trabajo. Okay? So that's your question number 6. Okay? So pag conduct and morality, that's your verdadero. Kapag yan ay kartilya ng katipunan, la kartilya. Kapag yan ay the Philippines a century hence, that's your Filipinos dentro el 100 ano. Kapag tungkol sa trabaho, hard work, tagalipa, that's your himno al trabaho. Okay, so that's your question number 6. Next, number 7. Okay, now for question number 7, guys. The Peaceful People Power Revolution in 1986 succeeded in ending the one-man rule during the martial law era. The Filipino people's achievement inspired other countries similarly situated, such as Romania, Poland, and Germany, to unite for blank. Is it letter A, example, letter B, separation, letter C, freedom, or letter D, overthrow? Hanggang matapos ko po yung 20 questions. So most probably mga 9 or before 9, basta matapos ko yung 20 questions. Okay. What's your answer, guys? Anong answer sa TikTok? What's your answer for TikTok? Paano naman ang mga Zoomers natin? Zoomers. Ano ang sagot natin dito, guys? Very good. That's your letter C for freedom. That's for letter C for freedom. So always remember, guys, the 1986 EDSA revolution. So ito yung sinasabi nilang EDSA People Power Revolution. So it actually symbolizes the willingness of the Filipinos, whether they are Ilocanos, they are taga Batangas, Bataan, Cebu, Mindanao, they stand together and they now fight for freedom and democracy. Okay? So this is now your people power. Okay? And of course, always remember guys, pag sinabi natin, EDSA People Power Revolution, this is a peaceful revolution kasi walang bloodshed. Yan. So, di ba, if you have watched the videos regarding the EDSA People Power, di ba yung may mga tanks, tapos yung mga madre, naglalagay sila ng mga, ano tawag dito? Mga rosary doon sa mga tanks, ganyan. So, that's your 1986. Hindi pa ako buhay niyan, guys. Buntis pa lang yung nanay ko dyan. I think. Okay? So, yan yung ating 1986 EDSA People Power Revolution. Okay. So, next number. Bakit ko sinabi yung ano, no? Yung age ko. Okay. So, next number 7. Bonifacio and the Katipuneros tore their cedulas on August 26, 1896, signaling open rebellion against Spain. An event memorialized as blank. Is it letter A, Battle of Tirad Pass? Is it letter B, parish secularization? Is it letter C, Sakay Rebellion? Or letter D, Cry of Balintawak? Okay? So dito guys, naalala ko dito kasi yung estudyante ako nung elementary ako. Di ba ito yung isa sa mga favorite na laging pinapaano ng mga teachers natin? Dramatize sa atin. So hindi natin ito makakalimutan. So if ever ito lumabas sa boards, yakang-yaka natin to. What's your answer for number 7? Ah, number 7 pa lang tayo, di ba? Ay, number 8 na ba tayo? Ay, oo nga, number 8 na. Sorry, guys. Number 8 pala to. Number 8. Sorry, hindi ko napansin. Hello! Ayan. So, what is your answer for question number 8? This is very good. Very good. That's your letter D. Cry of Balintawak. Okay. But guys, always remember, di ba na-update na to? Yan. So we actually have changed the exact cry of Balintawak. This is also now known as your cry of Pugad Lawin. So just in case sa boards natin, guys, bakit ganyan siya? So just in case sa boards natin, wala si cry of Balintawak. This is the former name. Ang susunod nating hahanapin is the cry of Pugad Lawin. Okay? So ito yung cry of Pugad Lawin. So always remember, this is a very important point in Philippine history. Bakit? Kasi the Cry of Balintawak, which was now led by, sino ang leader ng Cry of Balintawak? It's Andres Bonifacio. Si Andres Bonifacio, guys, um, this is now considered as the beginning of the Philippine Revolution against your Spain. Okay, so the 300 years of Spanish occupation. So anong ginawa nila dito? As in, literal, pinunit lang nila yung kanilang cedula or that's your residence certificate. Okay, and that is now the signal na ayaw na nila sa Spanish rule. Okay, ngayon, bakit siya napalitan ng cry of Pugad Lawin? Ayan. So, bakit yung cry of Balintawak napalitan na siya ng cry of Pugadlawin? Kasi nagkakaroon tayo ng mga controversy sa plate and then the celebration, even the date. So, kailan ba talaga? Okay? So, kaya siya napalitan ng cry of Balintawak to cry of Pugadlawin. Okay? So, just in case, sa boards natin nga, sabi ko nga, pag wala si cry of Balintawak, you have your cry of Pugadlawin. Okay? So, nagtayo sila ng monument dito, guys. So, they actually built a monument and it was unveiled noong September 11, 1911. Okay? And nasa ano siya? Siyempre, nasa Balintawak siya noon. And specifically, ganito yung itsura niya, guys. Ayan. So, etong monument na to, it was originally erected in Balintawak. Ngayon, wala na siya doon kasi nag-build tayo ng, alam niyo yung, ah, hindi siya highway eh. Yung intersection ng EDSA, saka ng, kung nasan yung Cloverleaf, doon. So, doon sa area na yun dati, nandun yung ating monument. Okay? Yung Cry of Balintawak, formerly, and ngayon Cry of Pugadlawin, o in Tagalog, ang sigaw ng Pugadlawin. Okay? So, dati nandun siya sa Balintawak. And then, dahil nga ginawa yung intersection ng EDSA, tsaka yung Bonifacio Avenue, tapos yung Cloverleaf, yan. So, tinanggal nila. And then, medyo nagkaroon sila ng ano dito, stress. Bakit? Kasi nung tinanggal pala yung monument na yan, iniwan lang siya sa tabi. Tapos na-stress yung mga historians. Lahat naman dapat talaga ma-stress kasi nga yung mga monuments dapat inaalagaan. So, ang ginawa nila is kinuha nila and then they moved that to kung nasa na siya ngayon. And that is in UP Diliman. Okay? So, baka kasi bigla kayo pumunta sa UP Diliman tapos sasabihin nyo, ay bakit nandito pala yung Cry of Balintawak. No. Okay? So, na-relocate lang siya doon. Okay? So, yan ang ating Cry of Balintawak. Okay, let's move on. Next one. Ito. Ito yung isa sa mga gusto kong question, guys. Question number 8. The narrative poem ba? Poem, Florante at Laura, which is an allegory of the political realities during the Spanish regime, was written by blank. Is it letter A, Emilio Mar Antonio? Is it letter B, Inigo Ed Regalado? Is it letter C, Lope K. Santos? Or letter D, Francisco Baltazar? What's your answer for? Bakit? Alam nyo guys, sinong marunong magbilang? This is number 9. Feeling ko, dire-diretso to. Hindi ko napansin. Sige, palitan ko na lang. 9. Yeah. Okay. So, ito guys, hindi natin makakalimutan kasi I think this is second year, Florante at Laura. Kasi first year itong Ibong Adar niya. So, iba na pala yung grading system ngayon. Oh, yan. Yan na nga bang sinasabi ko. Grade 8. So, nung unang panahon, sa panahon ni Ma'am Jenna, first year is yung Ibong Adarna. Second year is yung Florante at Laura. Okay. At hindi natin ito makakalimutan. Sino ang nagsulat nito? Very good. That's your Francisco Baltazar. Okay? So that's your letter D, Francisco Baltazar. Okay. So ngayon guys, ano yung kailangan nating tandaan kay Francisco Baltazar? The first thing we have to remember is his other name. So usually ang nickname niya binibigay sa kanya is Balagtas or ano pa? Aside from Balagtas, minsan tinatawag din siya. So we usually call him as, sorry, ay, 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 ay. Tinatawag din natin siyang prinsipe ng Makatang Tagalog. So he is also known as Prinsipe ng Makatang Tagalog. Ayan. So he was now known as Prinsipe ng Makatang Tagalog dahil sa kanyang obra maestra na si Florante at Laura. Okay? So, bakit ko gustong-gusto tong question na to? Kasi si Francisco Baltazar, guys, he actually wrote Florante at Laura based loosely on his life. So, if maalala nyo ano ba ang Florante at Laura? Di ba it's partly a love story ng parang doomed lovers. Okay? So, ganun kasi din yung nangyari sa kanya, guys. So, si Francisco Baltazar, he comes from hindi kasi siya, parang galing siya sa mahirap na family. And then, na-in-love siya sa isang mayaman na babae, si Maria Asuncion Rivera. Ayun. So, ginawa niya yung Florante at Laura, tapos dinedicate niya kay Maria Asuncion Rivera. And dun sa storya kasi guys, may parang naghahadlang sa pagmamahalan nila. So, parang ganun din sa buhay ni Francisco Baltazar. So, merong isang nagkagusto kay Maria Asuncion Rivera. Ayan. Tapos, yung taong yun, siya yung nag-cause na ma-imprison si Francisco Baltazar. Okay? So, dinedicate niya yung Florante at Laura kay Maria Asuncion Rivera. And then, sobrang heartbroken siya. Tapos, pumunta na siya sa Bataan. Tapos, doon niya na-meet yung kanyang wife, si Juana Tiambeng. Okay? So, bakit gustong-gusto ko to? Kasi imagine nyo, kung kayo si Juana, tapos alam mo yung asawa mo may dinedicate. Tapos, doon pa siya naging sikat, guys. Dinedicate niya doon sa ex niya, Char. Okay, so imagine yun, forever mong, ano yun, forever mong iisipin na, hindi, siguro lagi tong inaaway si Francisco Baltazar, ano. Ang babae pa naman lagi nang aaway, no? Yun. Kunyari, pag mangsusuyo siya kay, ano, Juana, siguro sasabihin ni Juana, hindi, doon ka na kay Maria Asuncion Rivera mo. Ganun. So, hindi natin makakalimutan to, guys. Kasi, hindi naman nakakatuwa. Pero parang, ngayon kasi, ano na sila, medyo matagal. Alam mo, pag history, medyo natatawanan na natin. So, ayan. So, ganyan yung nangyari kay Francisco Baltazar. So, he now wrote Florante at Laura kasi na-inlove siya sa isang mayaman, si Maria Asuncion Rivera. Okay. Tapos yung kay Cecilia, yung tula, yung sa, parang, yung panimulang tula sa Florante at Laura, kay Cecilia, ayun yun. Kay Maria Asuncion Rivera yun, para sa kanya yun. Okay. So, imagine nyo if kayo si Francisco, di ba? Dinedicate mo yung libro para sa isang babae. Tapos iba yung napakasalan mo. Forever siguro yun, ano? Kaya anong lesson dito, guys? Huwag magmahal. Charot lang. So, aside from that, ano pa ang lagi nating tatandaan? As you can see here, ano to? Ano yung laging nandito? Sa gilid ng ulo ni Francisco Baltazar. What's that? Ano yung nandito sa gilid? Bakit pag may question ako, walang sumasagot sa akin? Are you shy? Huwag kayong maging shy, guys. Si Ma'am Jenna nga, hindi shy eh. Ano yung nandito sa gilid niya? That is actually leaves and stems. Okay? Branches and leaves. Okay? And what do we call that? That is your laurel wreath. Mga dahon ng laurel. Okay? So, that's your Laura nobilis. So, para saan yung wreath na yan, which are connected branches and leaves of the bay laurel? So, para saan yan? It's actually, parang kumbaga, it's a crown and it's a symbol of honor and distinction. Okay? So, kapag nakakakita kayo ng mga tao na may laurel, yes, yung pang-adobo. Yung laurel dito, yon. It's actually a distinction of honor and distinction kasi nga because of his immense contribution. Okay? So, yan yung ibig sabihin nung laurel wreath niya. It's honor and distinction. Especially for his masterpiece, Florante at Laura. Okay? So, wag kakalimutan yan ha. That is a common question sa atin. Ano yung tawag dito? Okay? So, let's move on. Question number 9. Okay? Nasaan ako tumitingin? He is the founder of La Solidaridad and regarded as the great orator. Is it letter A, Jose Rizal? Is it letter B, Graciano Lopez Haina? Is it letter C, Marcelo H. Del Pilar? Or letter D, Antonio Luna? Okay, what's your answer? What's your answer for question number 10? Sorry guys, hindi ko napansin yung questioning. A, Jose Rizal. B, Graciano Lopez Haina. C, Marcelo H. Del Pilar. Or letter D, Antonio Luna. What's your answer here, guys? Very good. So for question number 10, guys, the correct answer is letter B, Graciano Lopez Haina. Okay, now, For Graciano Lopez Haina, guys, lagi niyong tatandaan, bakit siya naglalag sa Zoom? Okay? So, si Graciano Lopez Haina, guys, because he was considered as the great orator. Yan. So, he was also known as, so magaling daw siyang mag-present, magsalita. Ayan. So, that's why he is now known as Demosthenes. Demosthenes of the Philippines. Because he is a great orator. Okay? And he is actually one of the founders of La Solidaridad. Okay? And etong La Solidaridad, of course, we know that it's a newspaper which advocates reforms for the Philippine government. Okay. Now, always remember guys, kasi parang kung babasahin niyo yung history natin, parang hindi masyadong matunog si Graciano Lopez Haina, di ba? Yan. Kasi parang maraming galit daw sa kanya. That's why he was actually considered as the first editor. He was considered as the first editor of La Solidaridad. Pero ang daming nagko-complain daw sa kanya, ang daming nagagalit sa kanya. That's why, parang a little over a year, pinalitan na siya ni um ni Marcelo del Pilar. Si Marcelo H. del Pilar, pinalitan din siya. Yan. So that's why there are some historians na gusto nilang i-protect yung legacy ni Graciano Lopez Haina na bakit parang nawala, hindi na siya masyadong matunog, tapos ang daming mga negative na sinasabi tungkol sa kanya. So, alam niyo naman, pag history, minsan, kung sino yung nanalo, sila yung magsusulat ng history. Okay? So, that's why some historians, they want to preserve kung ano yung good deeds ni Graciano Lopez Haina. Okay, so always remember Graciano Lopez Haina is one of the founders of La Solidaridad. He's a great orator. That's why he's considered as the Demosthenes of the Philippines. He is the first editor of La Solidaridad. Okay, so yan ang ating Graciano Lopez Haina. Okay, let's move on. So the next one, oh, last number for TikTok, guys. So last number for TikTok, guys. Ayan, number 10. Ay, parang naulit. Naulit, no? Okay, so tingnan natin na lang since naulit siya, bakit ano nangyari sa ating PowerPoint? Ayan, so naulit, tingnan natin kung maaalala natin, guys. Apolinario Mabini, the acknowledged brains of the revolution. What's your answer here? Very good. It's your letter A. Tingnan nyo yan, tingnan nyo yan. Naulit, tapos ibang number na naman yung nakikita ko. It's your letter A. Okay. Ano ulit ang La Cartilla? Cartilla ng Katipunan. Si Filipinos dentro el Shen, Anos. It's a, it's written by Jose Rizal, socio-political. And Himno al Trabajo is written also by Jose Rizal for his friends from Lipa, Batangas. Okay. Anong number na natin dapat? 10, di ba? 10. Tapos na ulit to. Okay. Titingnan ko nga. So, bago tayo mag-end sa TikTok, so, admin, wag niyo po munang i-end kasi 9 questions lang sa TikTok. So, yung hanggang next question and then yun na ulit. Hindi ko yata na-hide tong question na to. Okay, so, eto na yung totoong number 10, guys. Dapat 11. Number 11. Number 11. Where was the death march brought to an end? Is it letter A, Tarlac? Is it letter B, Bulacan? Is it letter C, Pampanga? Or letter D, La Union? Hindi ko na yata kinakaya, guys, yung number ng question ko. What's your answer for this one, guys? Okay, so for question number 11, guys, where was the death march brought to an end? Of course, that's in, hala, anong nangyari? That's in letter A, Tarlac. That's your letter A, Tarlac. Okay? So, what should we always remember about the Death March? So, di ba ito yung tinatawag nating Bataan, Bataan Death March. Okay. So, in Bataan Death March, guys, gaano ka haba yung nilakad nila? So, approximately 106 kilometers daw. So, this is just an approximation. It's 106 kilometers. At ilan ang nag-join dito? So, ilan yung kasama dito sa Bataan Death March? So, around 76,000 prisoners of war. Okay? So, 66,000 of them were Filipinos and 10,000 were Americans. And they were forced by the Japanese military to walk from Bataan to what? To Capas, Tarlac. Ayan. So, gaano katagal yung ating death march? So, it depends daw kung saan nag-join yung mga prisoners of war, but it's around 5 to 10 days. And habang naglalakad sila from Bataan hanggang Capas Tarlac, guys, yung mga prisoners, they were beaten, they were shot, bayoneted, and yung iba, binihead pa sila. Okay? So, pumunta sila sa Bataan, pumunta sila sa San Fernando, tapos they were taken by rail in Capas. And then pumunta din sila sa dun sa Camp O'Donnell. Yan. So dun sa mga hindi dun sa mga naka-survive no that march, guys, pumunta sila sa isang camp. And then yung mga nandun, hindi lahat din nag-survive kasi yung iba namatay ng starvation tsaka sakit. Okay? So this is now your death march. Okay? So hanggang dito na lang po tayo for the Zoom. Thank you, Inala Prila. Ang ganda naman ang name mo. Thank you. Ayan. So, paano na lang guys sa mga nasa farm na naturuan ko, tapos may mga friends kayong nag-edu, sabihin niyo naman sa kanila na legit naman ako nagtuturo. Pa-legit check, seller po ng sapatos char. Okay, so let's start with another question number 10. Laong Laan and Dimasalang were the pen names used by blank. Is it A, Jose Rizal? Is it letter B, Juan Luna? Is it letter C, Andres Bonifacio? Or letter D, Emilio Aguinaldo? Okay, very good. For question number 10, additional question number 10, that's letter A, Jose Rizal. Okay. Now, for the pen names, aside from Jose Rizal's, ano ang pen name ng iba? So, let's start with Juan Luna. So, this is actually a pseudonym of Juan Luna. So, madali nyo lang maaalala yung pseudonym ni Juan Luna, guys, kasi based siya dun sa last name niya. And that is what? Buwan. Yan. So, Luna, which is moon, Buwan. Okay. Now, what about Andres Bonifacio? Ano ang pseudonym ni Andres Bonifacio? May Pag-asa. So, lalo na pag tayo ay napapagod na mag-review, guys, lagi niyong tatandaan yung si Andres Bonifacio. May Pag-asa. And ano pa? It's Agapito Bagumbayan. It's Agapito Bagumbayan. Okay. Now, what about Emilio Aguinaldo? Emilio Aguinaldo, ano kanyang pen name? So, masagot pala kayo. Sorry, hindi ko nababasa. What's the other pseudonym? What's the pseudonym of Emilio Aguinaldo? Very good, Aljon. It's Magdalo. Ayan. So, that's another question number 10. Anong question na ba talaga totoong totoo? 11 na ba? 13. Oh my God, 13. Okay. 13. Oh, nalito na yung leap. 13 na daw. Okay. So, 13. Okay. Hindi ko na i-edit ha, guys. Sabay-sabay na lang tayong malito. So magto-13 na tayo. Okay. So, let's continue, guys.
Ooh, what does this button do?
Okay. Governor General Narciso Claveria ordered the blank. Is it one, resettlement of Filipino communities? in Cabaceras? Is it 2, use of Spanish surnames by Filipinos? Is it 3, trabajo monopoly? Is it 4, reduction? Reduction. It's 13, letter B. Very good. So, ang ating number 13, that's letter B. Okay? So, this one, guys, itong in order ni General Narciso Claveria, this is actually known as your Claveria Decree. This is now known as your Claveria Decree. At ano ang Claveria Decree, guys? It's actually an administrative order sa Philippine naming system. So, anong nangyari dito, guys? Parang meron silang book. And then, nandun lahat ng mga Spanish surnames. And then, inutusan nila yung mga Filipinos to replace their indigenous Filipino surnames with Spanish ones. So, pinalitan lahat ng last name ng mga Filipinos with Spanish. Okay? So, bakit daw nila ginawa to? So, according to them, so according to the Spaniards, kaya nila to ginawa para daw magkaroon ng improved census. This is now to improve the census. Okay? So, census on what? On data and tax collection. So, yun, kaya nila ginawa daw to. Para daw mas maayos yung pag-tax sa atin, yung sa pag-name sa atin, ganyan. Pero of course, ano naman yung sinasabi ng mga ibang historians? So, some of the historians believe that it was done, yung pagpalit ng mga surnames natin into Spanish, para daw ma-eliminate yung, yun. So, para daw ma-eliminate yung mga Filipino names natin. Okay? So, yan daw yung gustong gawin nila. Pero of course, hindi natin sure kung ano. Basta some historians believe na gano'n daw. It's an attempt to eliminate indigenous Filipino surnames and replace them with Spanish ones. Okay? So, yan ang question number 30. Okay, let's move on. Next, number 14. The peace forged in Bohol between Legazpi and Sikatuna was known as blank. Is it letter A, Blood Compact? Is it letter B, Galleon Trade? Is it letter C, Verdadero Decalogo? Or letter D, Union Obrera? Anong sagot nyo, guys? Zoomers? Zoomers, what's your answer here? Very good. It's now your letter A, Blood Compact. So it's your letter A, Blood Compact. Okay. Now, ano ang lagi nating tatandaan sa Blood Compact, guys? Yung Blood Compact, this is also known as your Sandugo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Yan. So, ang Sandugo kasi, in Bisaya, it means one blood. Okay? So, anong ginawa nila dito, guys? So, the Blood Compact, it's the mixing of the blood of two individuals tapos sa isang liquid. So, usually it's wine, ganyan. So, doon nila ilalagay. And then, ayun. Ayun. Tapos, iinumin nila yung mixture of their blood and liquid. Okay? So, susugatan nila yung sarili nila, of course. Tapos, i-drip nila dun sa liquid, which is the wine. And then, they will drink. So, this is now, the blood compact is a seal. So, it acts as a seal on an agreement or friendship. Okay? So, yan yung friendship between Legazpi and Sikatuna. Ayan. So, from Bohol. And, of course, ito yung nandun sa painting. Ayan. So, yan yung blood compact. And sa sobrang important ng blood compact na yan, even yung provincial na flag ng Bohol, nandun siya. Ayan. So, that's now the provincial flag of Bohol. Yung blood compact. Okay? So, yan ang ating question number 14. Next is number 15. During the Spanish regime in the Philippines, there was European educated Filipinos who belonged to affluent middle-class families called A. Obreros, B. Mestizos, C. Ilustrados, or letter D. Propagandists. Anong sagot nyo dito, guys, for number 15? Uy guys, ano ha, sa history, huwag niyo mamahaliitin yung history ha, kasi laging may lumalabas sa history. At least mga 5 questions lumalabas. Okay, at parang hindi pa nga 5 mga 10. If you will also add Rizal, mga 15 or 20, madaming history and Rizal, guys. But the best part about the questions for the history and Rizal, usually ang lumalabas, yung mga common knowledge naman, yung mga naturo talaga sa atin ng elementary tsaka high school. Okay? Yan, katulad dito, Ayan. What's your answer for question number 15? Very good. That's your letter C, Ilustrados. Okay. So guys, always remember, ang mga Ilustrados, they are middle class family. Ayan. So they are middle class family. Tapos pinadala nila yung mga anak nila sa Spain para mag-aral. Okay. So anong ibig sabihin ng Ilustrados? For Ilustrados, this means enlightened ones. So this means enlightened ones. Okay? So, of course, ibig sabihin guys, kung ikaw ay pinadala sa Spain, medyo may kaya kayo. So, middle class. Okay? So, yun yung lagi nyung tatandahan na. Basta ilustrados ka, nasa Spain ka, Philippines, pumunta sa Spain. So, sino lang ba nakakapunta sa ibang bansa? Yung mga may pera. So, may kaya sila. That's why, for question number 14, all these were ilustrados except for blank. Is it A, Bonifacio? Is it B, Marcelo H. Del Pilar? Is it C, Jose Rizal? Or D, Graciano Lopez Jaina? What's your answer for anong number na to? 16? 16. What's your answer for question number 16? Very good. That's your letter A, Andres Bonifacio. Kasi lagi niyong tatandaan, guys, si Andres Bonifacio, he was born from a poor family. Pero even though poor family siya, guys, well-read si Andres Bonifacio. Marunong siyang magbasa and sobrang dami niyang books na binabasa. Okay, even the French Revolution binabasa niya yung libro nun. Okay, so that's your question number 14. So therefore, B, C, and D, they are all ilustrados. They are all what? They are all from middle class families and they all studied in Spain. Okay, next, number 15. Sorry, number 17. The Philippine legislature has 2 chambers and is described as blank. Is it letter A, bicameral? Is it letter B, unicameral? Is it letter C, multilateral? Or letter D, bilateral? Actually, dito guys, nasa question na yung sagot. Diba? Halos dito kahit hindi mo alam, basta marunong tayong umintindi ng question, nasa question na yung sagot. So, ano yung mga clues natin dito? 2 chambers. So, dapat, anong sagot natin? By. Diba? Dapat by. Okay. So, therefore, itanggalin ko na si letter C, tsaka si letter B. By dapat yung sagot natin kasi dalawa. Next, syempre, pwede kong tanggalin sino? Si letter D. Kasi ano ang bilateral? Both sides or 2 sides. So, hindi siya pwedeng yan yung tawag. So, by the process of elimination, even if I don't know the correct answer, I can eliminate all the other choices and correctly answer number 17. 17 ba to? Yes, 17. And that's letter A, bicameral. So, when you say bicameral, guys, that means it's now composed of 2 chambers. At ano yung dalawang chamber na yan? It's the upper house. It's the upper house and the lower house. It's the upper house and the lower house. At sino yung upper house? That's your Senate. That's your Senate. And sino yung lower house? That's the House of Representatives. That's the House of Representatives. Yes. Okay. So the 2 chambers, so the Philippine legislature is now composed of the 2 parts of the Congress, the upper house of Congress and the lower house of Congress. The upper house is the Senate and the lower house of Congress is the House of Representatives. Okay, so yan ang question number 15 natin, guys. Okay, let's move, 17 rather, 17. Next, number 18. The date of Philippine independence was changed from July 4 to June 12 by blank. Is it letter A, Benigno Aquino? Is it letter B, Diosdado Macapagal? Is it letter C, Emilio Aguinaldo, or letter D, Manuel Quezon? Anong sagot nyo, guys? Natakot naman ako sa sagot nyo. Chinek ko tuloy yung kung tama yung sagot ko. Okay? Okay. So, chinek ko tuloy kasi alam ko lumabas to sa boards ko eh. Ayan. So, okay. So, for question number 16, guys, huwag niyo kakalimutan to ha. Very important to. The correct answer now, guys, here is letter B. Diosdado Macapagal. Si Diosdado Macapagal ang nag-change. Okay? Now, bakit ba July 4? So, July 4, di ba ito yung birthday ng United States of America. So, before ang ating Philippine independence, it was July 4. Okay? Kasi ito yung date na parang yun nga yung birthday ni US, and then this was actually the Independence Day. The Philippines celebrated the Independence Day on July 4 kasi from America. Okay. Pero nung naging president natin si Diosdado P. Macapagal, he changed it to June 12. So July 4 dati kasi parang nagko-correspond siya sa United States, and then yun din yung parang nire-regard natin na Independence Day from America. But, pinalitan siya ni Diosdado Macapagal to June 12. Ano ba yung importance ng June 12? It was the proclamation of independence by General Emilio Aguinaldo. Okay? Kaya siya, pinalitan to June 12. Okay? So, dati July 4, kasi Independence Day natin from the United States. Pero pinalitan to June 12 in honor of Emilio Aguinaldo, proclamation on June 12, 1898. Okay? So, that's your question number 80. Okay? Next, number 19. All these nations are members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations except for A, Singapore, B, China, C, Indonesia, and D, Myanmar. Ito madali lang to, guys. Kasi ito yung parang controversial ngayon. Very good. That's your letter B, China. Okay? Kasi si China, guys, East Asia. Hindi siya Southeast Asia. It's just East Asia. Okay. Now, baka lang lumabas sa ating sino ba ang members ng ASEAN? So, 10. So, we currently have 10 members of the ASEAN countries. Okay, susulat. That's your Brunei. That's your Brunei, Darussalam. That's your Cambodia. Cambodia. That's your Indonesia. That's your Laos, PDR. That's your Malaysia. That's your Myanmar. That's your Myanmar. Philippines. Sabihin natin siya alphabetically muna. Singapore. And then you have Thailand and Vietnam. At least may listahan na tayo ng mga pupuntahan natin pagkapasa natin sa LET. Okay? So ngayon, nung estudyante ako, guys, in order for me not to forget all the ASEAN nations, ang pampaalala natin dito, guys, is I'm busy pala Thursday and Saturday, my BB. So, yan yung pampaalala ko noon. I'm busy pala ng Thursday and Saturday, my BB girl. Okay? Dati kasi may BB girl, ngayon wala nang BB girl. Okay? So, sorry na. Okay, so ano ang ating I'm busy pala Thursday, Saturday, my TV? So, what's the I? That's Indonesia. What's the M? That's your Malaysia. The B, that's your Brunei. C, that's your Cambodia. P, of course, our beloved Philippines. La, that's your Lao. That's Thursday, the T and the S. Okay, so the TH, that's your Thailand. And then you have your Singapore, Myanmar, and Vietnam. I'm busy pala Thursday, Saturday, my Vivi girl. Okay? O kaya Vivi boy. Okay? So, yan yung ating Sorry na guys kung ang corny ko. Feeling ko hindi nyo na-appreciate. Na-appreciate nyo ba yung mga pampaalala ko at mga joke ko? Pasensya na ha kung hindi tayo parehas ng parehas ng anong tawag dito? ng, ng, anong tawag doon? Tingnan nyo, gutom na yata talaga ako, hindi ko na maano. Humor! Thank you! Humor! Alam niyo, dapat kaya yata kailangan kong kumain before ako mag-live. Sa susunod. Okay? So, hindi ko kaya alam kung ano inaamoy ko. Tingnan niyo, hindi ko na nga talaga alam. Kailangan ko na yatang kumain. Tapusin na natin tong paglolokohan natin. Okay. Yung ulam ng kapitbahay. Okay, so sorry guys kung hindi nyo gusto yung sense of humor ko. Ganito kasi talaga ako magturo. Even sa farm, ganito. Tapos nasasanay na lang yung mga estudyante ko. They say that they don't find my jokes funny. Yung tawa ko daw yung nakakatawa. So, tawanan na lang natin sabay-sabay lahat, guys. Okay, so yan yung ating pampaalala. Sana lumabas sa boards nyo, tapos 10 beses maulit, ano? Para alam na alam yung sagot. I'm busy pala, Thursday, Saturday. My VV boy. Ay, VV girl. Hindi ko alam. Yes. Huwag natin itong makakalimutan, guys. Okay? So, yan yung ating number 17. Okay, let's move on. Anong number na natin, guys? 19? 19? Hindi ko alam kung anong number na natin. Nalilito na rin ako. Number? Nasaan na yung number natin? Ay, 20 na pala. Number 20. The triumvirate of the propaganda movement in Europe was 1. Bonifacio Aguinaldo Mabini, 2. Rizal Lopez Haina, Marcelo H. Del Pilar, 3. Gomez Burgos Zamora, and then 4 is T. Del Pilar, M. H. Del Pilar, and A. Luna. What's your answer for this one, guys? Oh, kanina, di ba? Na-discuss natin to. Sino ang mga nasa propaganda? Yung mga ilustrados, yung mga middle class families na yung mga anak nila pinadala sa Spain. At sino tong mga to? Sino tong mga to? Very good. That's your statement 2. That's your letter B. Okay? So that's your statement 2. That's your letter B. Rizal, Lopez Haina, and Marcelo H. Del Pilar. Okay? So I think we don't need to discuss that even further kasi sobrang na-discuss na natin sila paulit-ulit. Ay, ang pampaalala ko pala dito, guys. Sorry. In advance, magsasorry na ako kaagad, ha? Magsasorry na ako. So, ano ang props mo? So, anong props mo? Relo ko Mars. I am so sorry. I am so sorry, sorry, sorry ng marami. Okay, so anong props mo dito? Rilo Mars. Bakit Rilo? That's Rizal, Lopez Haina, and Marcelo H. Del Pilar. Okay, so I'm really, really sorry. Pasensya na guys, ha? Huwag niyo kayong magalit sa akin. Okay, so yun yung ating papaalala para hindi natin makalimutan. Ayan, Rilo Mars. Oh, hindi na Bruno Mars. Hindi na tayo gaganon. Si ano na. Really? Okay, so I'm so sorry ang corner-corner. Hala, nakahawa na kayo sa akin. Versace na tayo by Rilo Mars. Ayan, oh. Uy! Nagsama-sama tayo. Uy, nagkakasundo na tayo guys sa mga wavelength natin. Okay? Ang dami yung banat ha. Okay, so yan yung ating pampaalala for this one. Uy, kasi guys, lagi kasi ito lumalabas ha, sa board. So, ayan, kaya dapat hindi natin ito makalimutan. So, pag nakita nyo, Triumvirate Propaganda, anong props mo? Relo Mars. Okay? Ayan. So, gandahan nga natin sa susunod. Iisip ako ng mas maganda dyan. Pero okay na din yun. Props, Relo Mars. Okay, so yan ang question number 20 natin. Guys, alam ko sabi ko hanggang 20 lang, but since nagkamali ako sa questions, I think I still have two more questions. Okay lang ba? Sagarin natin, tapusin na natin? Okay lang? Yes? Yes, sayang naman kasi yung effort ko na naggawa ng questions. Okay, so let's move on. So the next one is question number 21. Gregorio del Pilar sacrificed his life in defense of Aguinaldo in the Battle of blank. In the Battle of blank. What's your answer here, guys? Very good. That's your letter A. Gutom na tayo si Ma'am Jenna. Letter A. Tirad Pass. Okay? Ako, guys, hindi ko makakalimutan to kasi nung bata ako, sa school kasi namin, meron yung tinatawag na ACT, yung Ateneo Children's Theater. Yan. Tapos, yung school namin, ini-invite na mag-perform din doon. Parang, kasi theater siya, so pwede kayong mag-audition. And then, nung time ko, I think I was in grade 5 that time. Tungkol kay Gregorio del Pilar yung OMG, yung drama na ginagawa nila. So, kay Gregorio del Pilar. And then, we watched that. Tapos, ang lagi ko naalala kay Gregorio del Pilar, yun lang yung naalala ko kasi bata pa ako nun. Ang naalala ko lang is, pogi siya at namatay siya sa Tirad Pass. Kasi doon sa pogi siya, kasi doon sa drama guys, parang may mga babae, tapos may kanta sila. Tapos kakanta na lang. Wala naman ako sa Zoom, wala. Tapos na. Ayan. Ayan. So, ano kasi siya? Si Gregorio del Pilar, pogi kasi siya noon. Tapos ano daw siya, parang pag makikita mo siya, parang he carries himself. Iba kasi kapag may confidence. Yan. So, confident daw, tapos pogi siya. Tapos kaya may kanta doon sa ECT na, Gregorio del Pilar. Ay, gumaganon-ganon sila. Tapos parang may paypay, tapos gumaganon-ganon sila. Tapos mahihimatay silang ganon kasi nakita nila si Gregorio del Pilar. So, yun yung nag-stick sa utak ko, guys. Kaya nung mga practice questions, hindi ko makakalimutan si Tirad Pass. At bakit hindi natin din siya makakalimutan? Kasi si Gregorio del Pilar, guys, always remember, yung palayaw niya is Goyo, and he was now known as the Boy General. Bakit? Kasi he was only 23 years old. He was only 23 years old when he made General. And he died defending Emilio Aguinaldo. Actually, not particularly defended, pero more of like, he died defending Tirad Pass para hindi makapag-pass yung mga Americans na gustong huliin si Emilio Aguinaldo. Okay? So, parang kumbaga siya yung slow down dun sa mga Americans na gustong huliin si Emilio Aguinaldo. Ayun. So, yan. So, di ba ito yung ginawa siyang movie. Kaya, di ba, yung movie dito, since pogi si Goyo, si Gregorio del Pilar, sino ang nag-act sa kanya? Yung pogi din. Oh, ang bilis ni Kyra, oh. Oh, siguro tinype na niya yan agad-agad. Kanina pa. Ito yung unang sasabihin ni Ma'am Jenna. Yung unang itatanong. Ang bilis nilang sumagot, oh. Kasi hindi ko kakatapos ko lang magsalita sinong nagganap sa kanya, ang bilis mo sumagot eh. Ayan. So, yun I see. Sino na ba to? Nakalimutan ko tuloy pangalan. Si Paulo Avellino. Alam niyo ba na kapitbahay ko to sa Baguio noon? As in, walking distance lang. Tapos, nakakasabay ko pa siya sa jeep noon. Tapos, sa jeep noon, syempre, di ba ganito ako. So, hindi ko pinapansin yung mga lalaki sa paligid ko. Tapos, meron yung minsan na nasa jeep ako, guys. Ang ingay-ingay nila sa jeep. Kasi di ba pag umaga, nagre-review kasi ako pag umaga. Doon lang ako nagre-review sa jeep. Ayan. Tapos mamaya biglang tumahimik yung buong jeep. Tapos ako parang, bakit? Bakit biglang tumahimik? Tapos pagtingin ko, lahat nung mga babae nakatingin doon sa sumasakay. At ang sumasakay ay sino na to? Si Avellino. Ayan, si Paulo Avellino, guys. pogi siya sa personal. Nung bata ko lang siya nakita. Hindi ko na siya nakikita ngayon. Ayan. So, yan si Paolo Avellino. Okay? So, wag niyo kakalimutan na si Gregorio del Pilar, pogi na, matapang pa, di ba? Yung kaya kang ipagtanggol. Uy, ayun. So, ganyan dapat yung mga pinipili natin. Yung mga kaya tayong ipagtanggol hanggang mamatay sila. Char. Okay? So, yan si Gregorio del Pilar. So, because Gregorio del Pilar died in Tirad Pass, he was now known as the hero of Tirad Pass. Ayan. Okay? So, that's your Goyo. Na-click na daw agad sa ayan, hindi nyo na makakalimutan to si Goyo dahil kay Kyra. Okay. And we have the last question, guys. The central leadership of the KKK was the 1. Sangguniang Hukuman, 2. Sangguniang Bayan, 3. Sangguniang Barangay, or 4. Kataas-taasang Sanggunian. Actually to guys, kahit hindi nyo alam yung sagot, basta alam nyo yung ibig sabihin ng KKK, makukuha nyo to. First, what's the meaning of KKK? Nung bata kami guys, ito yung lagi naming pang-asar sa mga kaibigan naming matatapang. Yung kunyari may nang away sa akin. Tapos may mga away na kaibigan ko gusto ng away sa akin. Tapos, sige, KKK. Gumaganon-ganon kami. Lalo na nung natutunan namin to. Bakit? Ano ibig sabihin ng KKK? Hanggang KKK na lang tayo. GGG, ganun. Ano ang KKK? That's your kataas, taasang. Hindi ko isusulat ha, mahirap isulat. Kataas, taasang. Ayan, sinulat ni Aljan. Very good talaga si Aljan. Favorite ko si Aljan. Laging nagre-recite. Kataas, taasang, kagalang-galangan, katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan. Ay, tama. Kataas-taasang oo nga, kulang ang katipunan. Kataas-taasang kagalang-galangang katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan. Kaya siya KKK. Yan. So, that's your KKK. So, kataas-taasang. Kung alam nyo lang yung kataas-taasang, masasagot natin to agad yan. What's your answer here? Of course, that's your letter D, kataas-taasang sanggunian. Okay? So, ang kataas-taasang sanggunian, guys, this is also known as the Supreme Council. This is also known as your Supreme Council. At itong Supreme Council ito, it's a group which is now composed of a Pangulo, Kalihim, Taga-Usig, Taga-Ingat ng Yaman. Oh, Taga-Ingat ng Yaman. Sana may ganun din tayo no, sa buhay natin. Taga-Ingat ng Yaman at 6 na kasangguni. Okay? So may president, may kalihim, may taga-usig, taga-ingat yaman, at kasangguni. Ayan. So, yan ang ating KKK, yung pinaka-mataas. Now, susunod sa pinaka-mataas, so yung ating KS, so i-abbreviate ko lang ha. So, if kataas-taas ang sanggunian yung pinaka-mataas, guys, or that's your Supreme Council, sino susunod? Ang susunod dyan is sangguniang bayan. So, ang sangguniang bayan, parang mas maliit lang siya. Parang mas, ano tawag dito? Parang, it's the group which now leads a particular bayan or lalawigan. So parang, kumbaga sa atin, we have the president, tapos may mga governors, ganyan, di ba? May mga mayors, parang ganun siya. So, ang tawag doon sa provincial council is Sangguniang Bayan. And then followed by Sangguniang Bayan is Sangguniang Balangay. That's our Sangguniang Balangay. Okay? Ito, yung Sangguniang Hukuman, this is also a part of KKK. But this one, ito yung parang, kumbaga court nila. So, ito yung mga sumasala tsaka nag-aayos ng mga anything na discrepancies or yung mga alitan ng mga tao sa KKK. Okay? So, that's question number 20. Okay? So, question number 22, I think. Yes. So, that's it for tonight, guys. Okay? So, sana may natutunan kayo sa akin. Anong natutunan natin kay Ma'am Jenna for today's video? Yan. Anong natutunan natin kay Ma'am Jenna for today's video? Real Mars. Ano pa? Ano pa? Aside from Rilo Mars. Thank you ha. Yan yung pampaalala sa akin. Rilo Mars. Ano pa? Yung amoy ng ulam. Thank you ha. Si Paulo Avellino. Very good. Okay. Ayan, yun. I'm busy pala. Thursday, Saturday, my VV boy or VV girl. Okay?